Welcome back to the Furality Sylva DJ interviews. I've got a Jason Silhouette here with me. Let's do the deep dive. So first things first, tell us a little bit about your hardware and software setup.
So when I first started DJing, I used a Newmark Mixtrack Pro 2 with Virtual DJ, and that was a little bit of a scuffed setup, but it got the job done for a few years, up until I bought my Pioneer DDJ 400, and I started modernizing with Rekordbox. And since then, I've sort of mixed it up a little bit. I've introduced Ableton and FL Studio. So I like, experimenting around a little bit with different softwares, and, I like having a little bit of fun with it. The whole reason to open up the Adjacent Silhouette project for me was to sort of get used to the DAW software, because I was always using Virtual DJ and I was always using Rekordbox, and I wanted to get into the production side of things. So I wanted to learn how to do the pipeline. I wanted to learn how to, make tracks and stuff. And when I started the Adjacent Silhouette project, I kind of found myself utilizing it a little more. If I'm trying to touch up my mixes and stuff, I would use, FL Studio. I really wanted to get to that stage where I could do production fully. And I still kind of have that ambition. And I hope one day that I can actually, release an album or something, because that's the goal.
How did you start the Adjacent Silhouette project?
So when I first started DJing, or getting really introduced to the craft, way back in the day, I was, going through YouTube, and I realized, wait a minute, what is this, Ultra Miami? What is this music festival? And they were doing live streams of it, and I watched it for a few hours, and then the few hours turned into an entire weekend, and I was introduced to sort of the energy, and I don't know, there was sort of a natural attraction to it for me, and one specific performance by Swedish House Mafia during 2011, that made me fall in love with it, and that made me say, hey, I want to do this one day. And I'm doing it now. This is such an awesome opportunity for me. This is as close to an Ultra Miami as I'm gonna get. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Not just regular Miami, Ultra Miami.
This is, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited.
Do you have any DJs within the community that you look up to?
Yeah, when I first started, being involved in the furry fandom regarding DJing stuff, I sort of grew some connections, and a lot of my friends, we found each other through music, and they've really inspired me and stuff. I could stand here and list all of them off, but I'm afraid that I would miss someone. I would feel terrible. But you know who you are if you're watching this. There's tons of names that have sort of pushed me to go further. Foxxyboi is one of them. It's probably one of my bigger inspirations. Watching them. And I'm a huge fan of their music and what they did with Nonstop World and how they pushed the fandom to a whole new level regarding production. Probably one of the bigger influences on my craft, I would have to say.
So if there is somebody looking to get into DJing, what advice would you have for them, or tips and tricks to help get them started?
So when I first started DJing, I binged mixes. I listened to every single music festival mix there was. And I paid attention to the track lists. I paid attention to how they did the transitions. I paid attention to the pacing. That's one way to learn. Since I'm an auditory learner, I found that, just listening to tons of mixes and tons of different genres, it helped me understand, how to work the craft, how to work the crowd. But at the end of the day, one of the most important things to do is just have fun with it. We're in a fandom where expression is probably the number one thing. So don't try to fit a status quo. Don't try to fit in a genre. Play what you want, because if you don't, then it's gonna show up in your music, and you're just what's the point, right?
If you play fake, you're gonna sound fake. You gotta have that heart.
Absolutely,
for it.
Yes. I think another important thing as well is that don't let the equipment side of it sort of run you away from it. Like personally, I can't afford, several $1,000 CDJs, and there's that little sort of like, I don't know, there's a taboo where it's like, there's like keyboard DJs, or if you're using a sync button, it doesn't matter. If you're using a keyboard, you're a DJ. If you're using the sync button, you're a DJ. Just have fun with it. Don't be pressured by other people's views of what a DJ is. Just play what you can and what's in your limits, and you're fine. Everyone can be a DJ.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining our Furality Sylva DJ interview series. Thank you so much, Jason Silhouette. Really appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank you for
having
joining me. This was a great conversation. Loved your answers. So yeah, tune in for more DJs because we're doing the whole lineup, baby. All right, bye everybody.